FM on Facebook live stream and over 30 affiliates across Ghana's 16 regions. Go digital on Spotify and the myjoyonline.com app. Coming up, government dismisses allegations that GNPC has caused a 1.5 billion cedi financial loss to the state in its gas supply deal with Gensa Energy.
The agreement between GNPC and Gensa, which is the subject of public interest, I think that it is important we understand it. Some of the headlines are not factual.
Also in the bulletin, 16 children, including a pregnant 14-year-old girl, rescued from being trafficked from the central region to Côte d'Ivoire. We'll tell you more. And in business,
SNIT pension scheme continues to post negative real rate of return as the worsening macroeconomic conditions present a new challenge to pension industry. We have more from the Financial Stability Review report. That's in 20 minutes.
We'll tell you the story of an 85-year-old man who served as bodyguard to Ghana's first president, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah.
Because Nkrumah at times used to go out in the night. So we'll be doing that. At times we used to go to seaside, the Brass Stars spread.
We also have a wrap of the Black Stars game against Nicaragua last night. These and more coming up on the news at 6 with me, Mamavi Owusu-Aboagye. This is Joy News, independent, fearless, and credible. Now, government is fighting off accusations that national oil company GNPC has caused a 1.5 billion cedis financial loss. Parliament's Mines and Energy Committee questioned GNPC's management over a gas supply deal with Gensa Energy. According to civil society groups Imani Africa and Africa Center for Energy Policy, Ghana buys gas for $95.8 million and sells to Gensa at $43.5 million. But Deputy Energy Minister Mohammed Amin Adam, who spoke to journalists after the meeting, said the claims are misleading.
Some of the headlines you read are not factual, and they do not help. When you have done analysis, called independent analysis, you need to put it against the facts. And the only way you can get the facts is to talk to the institutions that are involved. Otherwise, it can be misleading. And people will form an opinion on misleading statements. And this is why I am very happy that Parliament has shown interest in this.
And that's Deputy Energy Minister Mohammed Amin Adam. But minority spokesperson on the Mines and Energy Committee, John Jinapo, says it's too early for the government to seek to clear GNPC of any wrongdoing.
I'm clear in my mind that there are some institutional overlaps and there are some turf war issues that ought to be addressed with. And so clearly, the committee would interrogate this matter to its logical conclusion. Our duty is to ensure that we get to the bottom of it. Our duty is to ensure that the state is not shortchanged. And I can assure you that we will do everything within our capacity to get to the bottom of this matter.
Meanwhile, Chairman of the committee, Samuel Atachia, says they have invited Ghana Gas, who have a crucial role in the deal, to appear before the committee next week, after which they will come to a conclusion.
It's work in progress. It will be too premature for me to come to conclusions. The only thing which is a sore point for me is that I was thinking that before Imani and ASEP will put out into the public domain matters of this consequence, they should have made those matters referable to GNPC. That this is what we found, what are your comments? And they will incorporate their side of the story into the report. They didn't do that. So for me, it is too adversarial for comfort. We're just going to bring Ghana Gas into the picture. We've slated them for Monday.
And that's Chairman of the Mines and Energy Committee of Parliament, Samuel Atachia. Education authorities in the Ejuso municipality in the Ashanti region have withdrawn teachers from the Besiase MA Junior High School after parents allegedly assaulted a female teacher there. The teacher, Janet Sewa Ampafo, sustained injuries after being pulled by her hair and dragged on the ground by two women. She incurred the wrath of the parents after she cut the hair of a male Form 2 student. Ohiming Terry of our security desk has more in the following report.
Some students allege the boy used a blaze stick to shave portions of the hair to instigate the attack on the teacher. Michael Jartin is public relations officer at the Education Directorate.
Last Friday, I went there with my director to the hospital. We saw her. We saw the attire that she was wearing. It was very, very, very dirty. So you could see that it truly, they dragged her. I'm not taking this kindly at all because Director sent those teachers there to teach, not to be beaten up or maybe killed. So that we are taking it very, very serious. That is why we had to withdraw the teachers in the school.
With the withdrawal of the teachers, academic activities have ceased in the junior high school as students idle on campus. Final year students engaged in super mock exams are mostly affected.
All the schools are writing their mock exams, but here we are idling about. Schools in Malaysia are writing the mock exams. I want school to reopen so we can take part in the mock.
The report filed by Ohiming Teria of our security desk. Now, the Ketu South Municipal Chief Executive Maxwell Lugudo is assuring residents that circumstances leading to the deaths of a woman and her 3 children in a construction undertaken by a salt mining company 7 Seas will be investigated. The Chief Executive has set up a committee to commence the inquiry after receiving a petition from the protesting residents. Before we hear from the DCE, hear excerpt of how residents turn out on the streets demanding action. We can now hear from the MCE for Ketu South, Maxwell Lugudo.
I had several meetings with the Paramount chiefs and the stakeholders concerned. As I'm talking to you now, we also have a committee of 9, which will soon give the work to. That comprises of 3 representatives from the 3 Paramount chiefs we have in Ketu South.
Maxwell Lugudo there. Now, 16 children, including a pregnant 14-year-old girl, have been rescued from being trafficked from the central region to Côte d'Ivoire. The children, according to rescuers, were being trafficked into forced labor and forced marriages. Chief Executive Officer of Challenge and Heights, James Kofi Annan, indicated that their latest rescue brings to 57 the total number of children the organization has rescued this year. There's more in this report.
The Chief Executive Officer of Challenge and Heights, James Kofi Annan, says his organization has within the month of September supported the rescue of 24 more children for human trafficking in fishing. 8 of the children, he says, were rescued through the organization's conventional approaches, while 16 of those children were rescued on Ghana's borders with its neighboring countries.
Challenging Heights has, within the month of September, supported the rescue of 24 more children from human trafficking in fishing. 8 of the children were rescued through the organization's conventional approaches, while 16 of those children were rescued on Ghana's borders with its neighboring countries.
That was a News Desk report. Now, he served as bodyguard to Ghana's first President, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. Mr. Christian Bluko shares stories of his active days working at the Christian Boak Castle.
I'm called Christian Bluku, born here in Adidoma, 1938.
Christian Bluku is now 85 years old and resides in Mafe, Adidome, a community in the Volta region's Central Town District. He spent most of his formative years here. After elementary school, Christian went to learn tailoring and later enlisted in the Workers' Brigade.
I was born like a natural soldier.
In 1960, when Ghana became a republic, Mr. Bluku's cousin, a medical doctor, had just returned from abroad. Bluku's family asked him to go and stay with his cousin in Accra for a supposed better life. His visit to Accra eventually brought him closer to the corridors of power. Bluku recounts how his cousin recommended him for a job and how his CPP card earned him a position at the Christian Boak Castle, which was the home of Ghana's first president, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, at the time. He told stories about security operations they conducted in the dead of the night.
From that place, I was qualified after probation. Then he sent me to Castle. Then they confirmed me as a bodyguard to Nkrumah.
And that's Mr. Christian Bluku sharing some stories on security operations they conducted in the dead of night and Joy Prime's latest feature, The Last Guard. The full feature, The Last Guard, airs today on the Joy Prime channel at 8 a.m. And just before we go, the Black Stars of Ghana return to winning ways by beating Nicaragua by just a goal to nil. George Addo Jr. filed this report from Spain.
So the Black Stars managed to beat Nicaragua by 1-0 in the second pre-World Cup friendly as they prepare for the big tournament in Qatar in November. There would have been the expectation of many Ghanaians that the Black Stars would have scored many goals. Indeed, they created quite a number of chances, a chunk of them falling to Mohamed Kudus, but were just unfortunate to have scored the number of goals many were expecting. In the end, it was Fatau Isahaku in the first half who managed to latch onto a very good ball down his left foot and smash that into the net to record the only goal for the Black Stars here, and of course his first goal for the Black Stars officially. Well, Coach Otoado has got the rest of the time to decide what to do in terms of looking at the pool of players he has got and properly getting ready for the World Cup assignment.
7. 7, 10 is the highest, is 7. 7 because everything from what I saw, what we trained worked well, just as we have to score. So I like the runs behind the defensive line.
And that's the Black Stars coach, and then the report by George Ado Jr. And that's it for the news at 6. Our top headline is our government dismisses allegations that GMPC has caused a 1.5 billion cedi financial loss to the state in its gas supply deal with Gensa Energy. There's more news on myjoyonline.com.